Hello, Mediologists, and welcome to the second episode of our VR interaction, VR development course at Aalborg University in Copenhagen. And I hope you guys all handed it your first handing, which was hand animation from our last episode, which was the jazz hand episode, where you learn how to set up your HMD and how to, create controllers that follow your actual controllers in Unity, and also you learn how to make different hand animation, anything you wanted to create. You could create and then activate them. We learn how to script in a way so that you can activate different hand animations depending on what buttons is pressed on your your controller for the HMD. Today we're gonna talk about the next step of this project, or this developing for VR, and that is, one thing is seeing your hand and be able to see your environment and look around in 6 degrees of freedom, more or less, right? And in your project, as is right now, you can actually move around in your scene. You can go from A to B if you have the physical space to go from A to B. That's good for you if you have a big place, if you have a big room. It's nice that you can actually move from place to place, and then we can navigate your own virtual environment. Just clicking on the HMD and then walk around and then grab the virtual object, play with them. I don't know, do the treasure hunt, escape room activities, or whatever you want. But not everyone got the physical space required. Sometimes you have a huge virtual environment and you cannot you cannot move. You don't have that much physical space. In VR, we can transport you from here to a huge physical environment. And then we want to enable you to sit down or not move that much, but still make the virtual version of you inside my virtual universe to be able to move around a lot and come to some different places without actually physically moving. And I used the metaphor of Aladdin because he's sitting physically still, but he's moving around. And maybe, I don't know if it's a good metaphor, but I'm from Middle East, so that's the best I could come up with. But yeah. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today, and that thing of moving around without actually moving. So moving around using, for instance, the hand controller, sometimes the head movements and so on. It's called locomotion. And by loco, I don't mean like loco.
Are you trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco?
But like local, you are still local in your own place, but you still motion around, you still move around the environment. And today we're gonna work with the locomotion techniques that are made available to us through Unity's XR2 interaction toolkit, and that are quite fast and to set up and control and play around with, and set it up in a way that you guys desire that your user move around in your environment. And with that, I hope that for your next hand-in that you guys can create for me a maze game, like a game where I have to navigate myself out of a maze that you guys designed. So it's some walls, and I have to find a way to get out of that place. But we will talk about that physically when we meet next time. For now, let's create our project. Or actually, we're gonna, in order to not to waste too much time, if you want to see how to create a XR project from bottom up, you can watch the last episode. But today we're gonna work with what is it called? Oh, I accidentally closed everything down. Today we're gonna continue working with the last episode, which was the jazz hands episode that you already have watched. We're gonna continue moving at it because in that project we already have the hands, and we already have the hand animation. We already have the HMD set up. Everything is ready for us to create some nice locomotion. And I should turn off this. It can be on, doesn't matter, I guess. So Unity is starting up. There we go. Here is my jazz hands project that we developed together last time. let's have a look at it. First, I have a little bit of, there we go. There will be several of these during the video. Let's test what we have for now. Yeah, you guys can see. So we made the hand last time. It can close, it can open, and I can move around and I can make some nice movements. Right. So far, so good. Now let us make me a little bit smaller here, and then let's see what we have. We have the XR origin. The XR origin got the main camera. We have the left controller and the right controller with the left hand 3D model and the right hand 3D model that we animated last time, and that got the hand animation controller script that we wrote together last time. So today what we're going to do is to enable the user to move around in this environment. So we want the user to be able to move around freely in this environment, which is right now quite boring environment, right? So maybe let's create some walls around the user so that you have something to move around. So I'm just going to create like a 3D cube here, and then I'm going to move the 3D cube a little bit further away, and then I'm going to make it look like a wall of some sort. Oh shit, not y-axis, of course. On the z-axis, I'm going to make it 2.1. So it becomes like a thin wall, and then maybe I should scale it a little bit. Yeah, 3, maybe 2, there we go. So now we have one wall here. Quite a boring material, but yeah, this is just for testing. Who knows, maybe I have some textures for some wall texture I can use somewhere. If I can look inside my folders. There we go, I have a wall LPJ. So I can just, I'm not gonna teach you how to create textures and so on. I have just, for some other project, I have taken some wall texture that I will use. I'm just gonna call this texture. Boom. Wall JPG. Boom. And then now you're really going to see the power of Unity without you having to do much. If you can just drag this over here. Boom. That's it. For now, it will look like a wall-ish. So let's create a couple of walls so that we have something in our scene to navigate around. The wall over here, and then yeah, that's it. Maybe this one can come also a little bit, so we have a small corridor here. We can navigate around. So we want the user to navigate, and we want the user not be able to go through obstacles in the scene. Okay. Yeah, you see, I have the wall, and I have the other wall. Perfect. So far, so good. Okay, now let's try to create some locomotion. By the way, let's clean up a little. I did turn off my other screen. What happened? Oopsie. Okay, where was I? We are still recording. All good. I don't have much space on this now. Okay, I hope you guys can still hear me. I try to not use, I use my head-mounted display as the microphone, and I know it sucks sometimes. You guys cannot hear me, so I try to put it as close to my face as possible. Let's clean up a little bit. Let's create a game object called empty game object. Call it walls because we want to, And what I should have done is I should have created a duplicate of this. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to do that because this should be called wall. And then I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to put it over here. And then we're going to move them all over here so that we can close it down and clean a little bit up in our hierarchy so it doesn't look messy. But what do we need now? We need to have something that we can use to navigate or like come around in the scene. And if you look at these controllers, they have these joystick thingies here. Oh, here. that and most of you probably are experienced playing with a joystick controller gamer thingy, and you know that you control your character on a console screen using the joysticks. What if we could use the same mechanic to move ourselves around in VR? That's what we're going to try now. Okay, so we need to create some things in our project that will create the ability to be able to do locomotion in our project. So what we need for that, to begin with, we need to go on our XR origin, and we need to create a locomotion system that XR interaction toolkit actually provides for us. If you go inside the browser here, you can, there are nice documentation about all of this. But if you want to know exactly what the locomotion game object, like the script locomotion system script that the Unity has created, what it got, what's the different variables and so on, you can read more about it in the documentation. But as you see here, what it needs is an XR rig. Then you can read more about the timeout and stuff like that in the documentation. But let's do it live so we can learn from it by doing right now. So we're gonna create a locomotion system here. Then it needs the XR origin. And what is our XR origin? We have it right over here, the XR origin. So we're gonna drag the XR origin down here. Boom. Now we have a locomotion system in our game ready to be used. But we want to tell it how to be used. Should it be teleportation? Should it be continuous movement? What should it be? Let's start with continuous movement. In continuous movement, for continuous movement, we can use something called dynamic move provider, which is right here. And the dynamic move provider have also several different attributes, and we can also look them up here. So everything from, for instance, move speed, so the speed in unit per second to move forward. That you can change in real time depending on what your game is, what your game mechanic is. Whether or not you want to enable strafing, like or not in your game, or control whether gravity has an effect or not, and so on and so on. You can, again, Unity documentation is amazing to read, especially about some of these libraries that they create themselves. They try to document it very well. It's not always the case, but often, especially with Unity XR Interaction Toolkit, it's getting better and better. But sometimes they don't update it on some. For instance, I think this has changed name. It called Continuous Move Provider, but now it calls Dynamic Move Provider. Or actually, maybe you also have the Continuous Move Provider, but we're going to use Dynamic Move Provider for this specific attempt, which is something nicer. And then let's see, system. We need a locomotion system for this to work. So let's give it the locomotion system we just created. Move speed, we're going to keep it at 1. We're going to enable strafe. We're not going to enable fly, but you guys are welcome to experiment with that. Use gravity application mode. So I think it means, let me make this bigger. So when will gravity work? When you try to move or always? Well, I mean, like in real world, in more physical world, gravity always works, not just when I move. So let's just say it works right away, all the time. Then it wants a forward source. So when you press forward, which direction should we move towards? And you can play around with that. You can create so many fun experiences with that, using that, but we cannot move towards the forward direction of the main camera. So I'm going to put the main camera here. And now the fun begins. Now we want to tell it what buttons to use to move around. And in order to do so, I'm going to use the old XR sample input that we downloaded earlier. So we're going to use reference, and you can do it for both hands, or you can do it for one hand, and the other hand you can use to turn around in the scene, which we will get back to in a second. Let's start doing it for our left hand. So left hand used to do locomotion, and then you place use reference, and you remember all the input that the Unity created for us back in the days, that we use for instance, to get the input from the controller about whether or not which button is pressed to play which animation. We can do the same here. So here are all the inputs that Unity has created. If you go in asset sample extraction tool, starter asset, and then over here. So if you go in the starter asset, and then what was it? Over here. So left hand, it got lots of XRI left-hand interaction buttons, like the activate button, select button, select value button, and if you do it, is the grip button, for instance, for select value, a grip button for just select. activate is the trigger button, and so on. And Unity had made all of this ready for us, so we can simply just grab them when we need them. Oops, I think I'm a lot in the way here. Coming over here, there we go. Cool. So what I did before was that I pressed this button here, and then I went here, because you want to tell it which button should enable move. Gonna make this a little bit larger for you guys to see, but I'm gonna choose something that is called oh, it's gone. Oh, where is my Unity? Pop, pop, pop. Gonna press it again then. I think I accidentally closed that. Boom, there we go. We're gonna press the left move. So when I write left move, two things come. It's one of is grab move, one is just move, and I want just move. So I put move in here, and then it's asking me several questions here, such as like for instance, what head movement do I want to go to? Like for the move, what movement direction, what left controller transform, and the right controller transform. We need to give it this information. And the head transform is our camera, the left controller is the left controller, and the right controller is the right controller. Not the model, but the parent object, okay? Now, if you press play, let's see what happened. See, I'm moving around. I'm a little bit like in the earth, it feels, but I am moving around. I cannot really turn, but I can move around. Oh, but I can go through walls. That's a nice magical power I have, moving through walls. And tracking space, I should move a little bit further back. Cool. So, don't put this on the ground so you guys cannot hear me. Let's walk on with this so that we can, we are moving around the camera and the XR rig, but we don't have a body. We want a body. We need a character. We should be a character with physics and so on. So to get the body, we need a character controller that is also used for like FPS games and so on to give some physics to the player being controlled around with the WSAD buttons. So let's try to get that character controller. And let's try to type it right. Is it called character controller? There we go. Now I can spell. Boom. Look at what we have here. Now we simply have a character controller which is down on earth. It's a little bit chubby. We can make it thinner. We can play around with all these values. Like for instance, I can make it so that it affects even less with the radius. So I'm thinner. So at least in the physical world, a visual board, I can be thinner. That's nice. And you can play with this height and so on. Let's just first have a look at it. If we can now go through the wall still or not with our newly founded body. Whoa. I think we fell down. Isn't that what happened? I think we just went right through the ground and we are gone. Yes. Oops. There we are. There we are. There we are. Hello, hello, hello. And the world is leaving us. It's all the way up there. Okay. That was not supposed to happen because half our behind is up here. So let's move the character control a little bit further up on the x-axis. There we go. And maybe reduce its height to 1. Boom. Or maybe just actually 0.5. Boom. How much is that? Where did it go? There we go. Okay. 0.5. Okay. Now let's see what happens. It must look weird, but I mean, you guys can play around with these numbers. Now, as you see, you have a body that actually, are we still going down? No, we're still here. Nice. So I'm here, and I can no longer go through these walls, which is awesome. But as you see here, actually if you have a look here, my camera is outside of my body. So technically I should be able to, so I can actually through the wall. I cannot show you guys this like this. But yeah, technically I should be, my head is moving around independent of my body. Look, the head is going over here while the body is still over here. And also there's some issues with the height, but that has to do with how I have set up my HMD to begin with. But we want the body to follow the head also. So for that, we need a character controller driver to be able to totally control. To make sure that our head also stays and controls the body. So if I move around, my physical attributes of the character controller stays within here. So for that, we need a character controller driver. Boom, and that needs a locomotion provider that we will give it to it. And the height and so on can be infinity. But now if I press play, so if you look in the scene, oh, my body is following my head. And if I move, it's actually following my head now. And not just the controller, but it also follows the controller. So I can actually move around and doot. And now I can no longer just put my head in there through the wall, for instance, to see what's on the other side, because that's something you could do before that. That is awesome. Now let's turn around. And how do we turn around? We again use some more XR interaction toolkit magic. And for that we need an object called turn controller. Continuous turn. What's it called? Continuous turn? Turn provider, I think. Yeah, continuous turn provider. We're gonna go with the action-based one. There are two ways to turn. One is continuous, which is like we do in real life. That can be a little bit motion inducing for some people. The other option is snap, 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 turn. Which means you press the turn, all of a sudden you're here, all of a sudden you're here, all of a sudden you're here, all of a sudden you're here. So it turns like boom, boom, boom in levels. And that is less motion inducing for some, so let's try different ones, okay? And then it also needs the locomotion system. We're gonna give it the XR origin here, the turn speed, that one you know. We use the left hand for locomotion, so let's use the right hand for the turn. And Unity again provided us with some turn actions, turn right. By right, I'm gonna look for the input actions for the right hand. They made one for the snap turn and one for continuous turn. Let's just say the one for the continuous turn. And if you go here and you have a look of which one it was, and that is of course the right hand locomotion stuff over here. And for turn, we see is the primarily 2D axis that it's using for the right hand turn. So by putting that here, we are using the 2D axis to do continuous rotation to the left and right. So boom. So with the right hand, I can move around in my scene, but then with the left hand, I can rotate. Personally, I do not like this because I feel this is a bit motion inducing for me, but I can also move and turn around like this. So thank you very much. Now I go down. Goodbye. Whoa. We don't have normals behind our playing. But anyways. Okay. So let us do the other turn. What did I call it? The snap turn. So I just look for snap turn action provider. We deactivate the continuous turn provider. We're gonna give it a XR origin. And for the reference, again on the right hand, I will do right snap turn. Right snap turn, there we go. And then we're gonna press play here. See what's going on. Whoop, 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 whoop. So this is more snappy. Snap, 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 snap. I really like this way of moving around using the snap stuff. It's all for the locomotion stuff. I feel like locomotion for me is the most intuitive way to move around inside a virtual environment. but that is very like for preferences. Different people prefer different ways to move around in the virtual environment. You guys can decide how you want to design your game. The other way to move around in virtual environment is called teleportation. And teleportation is exactly as it sounds. I'm here. I choose a destination to teleport to. I perform some actions, and then boom, I'm there. All of a sudden, I'm not here anymore. And that is another way to do locomotion in virtual reality, which is extremely popular. So in order for us to do that, we need a teleportation provider for our XR origin, and this is our teleportation provider, and of course it needs a XR origin. Boom. But I mean that is not enough. It will need something to teleport with. And let's use the right hand for that. So we go to our right controller and we're gonna add to it a teleportation ray. So we need to point at the direction, at that place we want to teleport to. So in order for that to happen, we need to show it where we are going. So for that, once again, Unity has provided us with something called teleport provider, or what is it called? Teleport interactor, teleport something. I think it's a teleport interactor. Yes, it wants to know what layer mask it should be able to teleport you. So everything that is teleportable should be within that mask and so on. So we're gonna put that on our right controller. Here it is, and we're gonna call it right teleport interactor. It doesn't matter. So far so good. It needs an interaction manager. Once again, we're gonna give it XR interaction manager. For now, we're not going to give it anything else than this, and we're going to try it out. So let's have a look. Oops, see? It is turning, and then if I press any button, nothing is happening. I turn, but if I press the grip button, also nothing is happening. So we need to figure out what's going on. Well, it seems like what is going on here is that we are not really having created any places for us to teleport to. We haven't created any environment for us to jump into. Right now we just have the plane, which is our floor, and our floor doesn't got anything on it except the mesh collider and mesh renderer. So we can just see it and collide with it, but our ray doesn't give anything about it. So we need to create something for it to teleport to. And one of the things that can be used to teleport to, like an anchor point for us to teleport to, is called the teleport anchor, which is actually this guy over here. I'm gonna put it in here. Boom, it turns out over here, and I can move it. For instance, let's say here. Then I'm gonna duplicate it and move it here. Then I'm gonna duplicate it and move it here, and here. Okay. Let's try to see what will happen. I don't know if it's affected by gravity and if it go down, but I will find out. It could be fun if it didn't. It doesn't. So look, I cannot do shit. Nothing is happening as before when I do this, but when I come here, oh, it does. Boom. Now I'm here. Let's go there. And we need to fix something. Okay, guys. Another problem with this is that when you put the teleport anchor, I'm going to delete these three guys because we're going to have to rotate it. As you could see, it is always facing one direction. And it is the teleportation configuration here. It says target up and forward. And target up is the z-axis, and then it looks at its beautiful, I think it's the x-axis, whether or not which direction that is looking. So for that, we want to rotate it around. We want to rotate it around its y-axis, which is the green one, 19 degrees. Boom. Perfect. And then we're gonna try to create our little boom. Let's see if we manage to do this without falling down. So We're gonna rotate. Oh, there you go. See, now it points that direction. So I'm coming here, I'm coming here, I'm coming here, I'm coming here. I'm carefully rotating. There we go. And see, I could go all the way back there at the direction. You can play around with the distance it will accept and so on. We can also just jump down once again. So this is one way to create. If you want your user to teleport to a very specific position, you can use a teleportation anchor, which is quite powerful for, say, specific game mechanics. But you may want to create a different way for them to move around, and that is you want to allow them to go anywhere, teleport to anywhere in your scene, as long as it's the floor, of course, not the walls and so on. So for that, you have to go to here, XR teleportation area. I think it is it. Colliders, yes, it is this one. So this is our teleportation area. It is tad too big compared to what I want it to be. I don't really want it to actually have any visuals like renderers and so on. Can I create, maybe let me try to do this differently. I'm gonna remove the teleportation area here. I'm gonna create an empty game object, call it teleportation area. And then over here, I'm gonna put the teleportation area, boom. Good, because I don't want my teleportation area to have like physical appearance because I already have a floor. As you see over here, we already have a nice floor. Let's reset its position. It doesn't really matter, but it got a collider, and it is here where the magic happens. Because then I can put my floor here. Boom. And we can even like do some other kind of stuff. Like for instance, scale this down to 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. I don't know why I scale it on the y-axis. But we can make like some kind of fun level here, right? So we can jump around our scene like this. Of course, not all of these are inside our teleportation area, so we're gonna give it, oh shit, we're gonna give it some more, boom, boom, and I'm gonna put all of these guys in here. Pressing is hard today. 2, oh, was that 3? Then 2 needs to come here. Then we need 1 more for 4. So now I should be able to actually teleport everywhere here because of our, let's have a look. Okay, I mean, I can do it here, but I cannot do it here. Need to troubleshoot what is wrong once again. Let's see what is wrong here. God damn it. I think you guys can see what I'm talking about. First of all, this should be a teleport. This should be in the teleport layer, and also we don't have an interaction XR manager thingy. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. It should work now. Oh shit. I think this HMD is gonna break while making these videos. Let's see. Oh, now I can jump with the grab button everywhere. And here, where was the other ones I put around? Fuck. The problem is, of course, they don't have a normal map underneath them, so I cannot see shit. Oh, maybe I can guess. No. Oh well. Well, it was fun as long as it lasted. Actually, sorry for me playing around a little bit too much, but if we do this, man, they should not be. It should actually be like cubes or something instead of planes. Fuck it. But anyways, yeah, the plan is if we do this, we can actually jump downwards on stuff. So I can jump here, and then as you see, I can jump. Whoa, shit, can I?
cannot for some reason. Up there we go. This one worked. The other two didn't work for some reason. Now I'm here. Whatever. Well, so far so good. There are some issues still. For instance, we are moving around, like when we like jump around. Wait a second. We are moving around, but the problem is that it's always the same direction, and we cannot decide which direction we can jump onto when we teleport. And we would really like to decide that direction. So for that, we're going to teleport the configuration, and we're gonna press match like the user direction input, so we can turn around our direction to decide which direction we want to teleport to. So let's have a look. So as you see here, if I press down the teleportation button, I can move around. But as you see, it's also the same action as my rotation. So now it's confused which one is which, right? But then I can I can teleport and I can look. Oh shit! This is very weird because it is also rotating me. But I can change, like boom, here I can teleport to this area by looking that way. Or here I can, oh shit. I can teleport and look back to the main area. There we go. But things are confusing. We need to fix stuff because stuff is weird right now. First of all, we're gonna in the future use the grip button for grabbing stuff. So that's not how we're gonna do it. We're not gonna use the grab buttons for this. So we need to override the interaction actions for the teleporter thingy we built it here, the teleport interactor. Right now it's working with grab button, but we want it to work not with the grab button, but with the for instance the actual teleportation button that XR Unity Toolkit provides, which is by holding down the forward button and then releasing it. That is another way to do it. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. Override the function of the override this thing, the XR controller on the teleport XR interactor. And for doing that, we're gonna write first. We're gonna add a XR controller to this, and this is very empty. As we did in the previous video, we're gonna add was it right hand? It's right hand. Gonna add a right hand. Oh shit. Gonna have a default right controller to it here. There we go. And we don't want it to do anything with our position. So anything that do with rotation and position and tracking, we don't want it to be affected by this one. Only the main one over here. We want to affect that. But for this one, we want the select action to be the rotation stuff that Unity provided for us. So if we come here, just search for rotation. No, rotation, not rotation, teleportation. Teleport, left, right. Teleport direction, teleport more activate, teleport cancel, teleport select. There we go. So select action is going to be teleport select, and over here we're also going to have teleport select right. So now we know what it's called, so we can just write the whole thing. Boom. So now we don't have to use the grab button. Now we can just use the teleport button, which is the controller here. In a second we will try to fix it so that it doesn't both rotate and so see, now I can actually turn it around. Oops, and then I can release it. So let's turn. Oh shit. But now it does so many things, right? So it teleports me when I don't want it to teleport me. It is extremely sensitive. Whoa, I'm getting motion sickness here. We need to separate stuff. Stuff is going on top of each other. How do we do that? So how do we fix this stuff that is going on top of each other? We want to separate so that, first of all, we don't want to see the teleportation ray unless we want to teleport. Otherwise, we may want to use our hand for making nice gestures. Another also is that we want to be able to turn without activating the teleport, and we want to teleport without activating the turn. That is quite annoying, right? So we need to manage stuff, we need to separate stuff, we need to move stuff around. And how do we do that? Is we will go to our right hand, right controller, and we're gonna get the action-based controller manager, which is over here. And this is also a nice tool. Let's look at it. Action-based controller manager. Action-based. I mean, you can read all about it, but controller manager, XR interaction. I don't know if they have made some nice documentation on it yet, but you will be able to read about it. Here we can actually create some control action, so the system knows when you want to teleport, when you don't want to teleport, when you want to turn, when you want to use move, and so on. So let's start telling it when we want to teleport mode active, so that it knows and it will stop everything else. And we will make it listen for our teleport. So it's right hand teleport, we make it listen for the input action of the teleport starting, and it must be this one, teleport mode activated, which means when you press this thing in forward, the teleport mode will be activated. Then it will know we are teleporting, so it will not do all kind of other stuff. And here we want to have the right teleport, the opposite of activated, cancel, here it is. And on snap turn, we want to give it the turn thingy, right snap turn, boom, which was what we were using as far as I remember to turn. It was right snap turn. Yes, perfect. Cool. So now it should actually not activate the ray while we are rotating. Have a look, and also it should not go on top of each other. And another fail. I wonder why, but let's see. Can I rotate? Yes, I can. I can rotate without any problems, without teleporting at the same time. So I'm in still the same position, but I'm rotating. That is nice. But the question is, can I also teleport? So I activate teleport. I can turn it around without rotating. Look, activate teleport, turn around without rotating. So it actually works. Teleport, I can turn it around, and I'm not rotating anymore. I'm just rotating where I want my orientation to be once I have to turn around. So it's fixed. The only thing is not fixed is that I can see still this one when I don't want to see it. I want to use my hand for these beautiful gestures. Let's try to see if we can fix that. Okay, we have forgot to put a teleport interactor here, which is this. Now I have it here. I mean, the rest we're not going to play around with for now, but we're going to come back to this stuff and we're going to work with grabbing and stuff. But let's see how it works now. Oops, see, it's gone. So now I can actually watch my beautiful, beautiful hand animations, and I can actually turn just by turning and rotate just by rotating without having to like go through annoying both things done in the same time. And we can also do continuous movement on the left hand, and we can, while doing continuous movement, use our nice gestures, right? So with that being said, I'm just going to jump here. Whoops. I maybe have to fix that, but it's up to you guys to try to play around now and try to fix stuff yourself. So it was a pleasure, guys, to have this video with you, and I'm looking forward to see you physically and see you guys implement this locomotion, both the teleportation and the continuous locomotion and the turn base and stuff should not go on top of each other. And I want you guys for the next time to create some sort of a maze game or runner game or something where I have to get from A to B. All right? As you're handing. It can be very simple maze you create using walls, and I have to just reach a green dot. That is also enough. That's just something that requires me to teleport or continuously locomote myself around. Okay? I'm gonna tell you more about it when we meet physically, but for now, thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure as always, and see you on Friday. Bye bye, Medialogy.